Looking to spice things up in the bedroom? Why not surprise your lover with an adult sex toy, a video, or an accessory from Adam and Eve? Now, listeners of the Dainty Thug podcast show can enjoy a 50% off discount on any item at Adam and Eve. You can use this discount on your vibrators, sex toys, lingerie, lubes and lotions, condoms, videos, or anything else your naughty heart desires. To receive this discount, visit our official site of the CSPN.us, then select on the Keep Our Podcast free link at the top of the site. Scroll down and click through our Adam and Eve link at the bottom, then just go shopping. And as you check out, put the promo code HAVE OFF at the checkout to reduce all item prices by up to 50% plus free shipping. So, what are you waiting for? Spice up your life. Woo, child, the ghetto. Ooh. This has been a very, we had a very dramatic week and a half or so. It's been a lot going on. I don't even really know where to start. I guess we'll start with Afropunk because, and this is actually my first year, of not attending Afropunk. I've been going religiously since I was in college. So we're talking about 2011. I've been going to Afropunk and it used to be free. And it was like that ritual before school started again. I'll just go to Afropunk, meet all my friends I'm going to be in class with and hang out and sit in the park, listen to good music, watch, the Black Punk kids, learn some new bands and eat some food. Afropunk was like the quintessential, Black fest, right before the Labor Day weekend kickoff. And we would go there and, when I used to go to Afropunk, back, some years back, it didn't matter what time I rolled up. I would usually roll up at 4, 5, 6 p.m. The line wasn't super long. I was able to go in, hit a food truck, sit in the park and just chill. And you know what else I noticed is it wasn't as dusty either because it's probably, less foot traffic. And there would be some white people there, but not a lot. It would be a couple sprinkles here and there. Because of Afropunk, I was introduced to Living Color and Bad Brains and, some really cool, really punk bands. And I went every year. And the last Afropunk I went to before they started charging, I believe Questlove closed the show. And I think that was maybe 2014, maybe 2015, and the following year was the first time, they started charging tickets, and D'Angelo was the headliner. And, I wanted to see D'Angelo, so I paid for a ticket. No, I was actually a vendor that year, so I didn't pay for a ticket, but I wanted to see it because, D'Angelo was performing, and I knew he had an album coming out, and I definitely wanted to see him. But I think, the ticket prices start, rising a little bit in price. And they start recycling acts. And if you go to Afropunk every year or you're Afropunk regular, you kind of get a feel of, who's coming and who's not coming and who you're going to see. And it just started changing dramatically. I saw the lineup this year was like Erykah Badu, Janelle Monáe, and like they're great acts to see live, but they've been at Afropunk before, so I kind of find it a little bit a stiff to the fans to charge these prices for acts that performed at Afropunk already. I know one year they had Lenny Kravitz and Grace Jones, and they had Lauryn Hill, child. I'm gonna get into her, but yeah. So people was expressing their disappointment, before Afropunk, and I think what really, really got people upset was the fact that people were being put out of Afropunk. Black people were being put out of Afropunk because of t-shirts they were wearing, and I was seeing non-black people wearing these Anglo-punk shirts and all types of ridiculousness. It's just, I don't really know what's going on. And I went to their, if you've been to Afropunk's IG, it's really passive. Now, granted, I don't know, when I went to cover Afropunk 2 years ago, I know their PR dude was this white dude named Ryan. I don't know if he's still working with them. I know they don't really give access to black media like that. They only give access to mainstream media, which is really interesting because it's a punk show. They give access to BuzzFeed and HuffPost but black bloggers and, I don't even see BET at Afropunk. It's all Vogue and shit like that. So I don't really know what's going on. So I went to their IG, and it was just really passive, talking about, black consumerism, and it just seemed like they was making excuses. And I think Afropunk is starting to, is not starting to, but they are pretty much losing their soul, they are losing their spirit. And I think, people like the dramatics and the aesthetic of Afropunk, but it's not as funky and as passionate and as authentic as it used to be. And I have some black punk friends, musicians and stuff like that. They've been dropped Afropunk years ago. They were like, why are you still going to Afropunk? Afropunk is trash. Afropunk is this. Afropunk is that. Don't support them. And I'll be like, bro, it's still free, But, they already had dropped them. And I just feel like anything that I feel like is black centered, and once mainstream media capture it, it's only two things that's going to happen. It's either going to become more open and comfortable for non-black people to participate, and that's what Afropunk is becoming. It's like the, Black Lollapalooza, and people was taking pictures of the VIP section, and it was not really black. And they also had a program where you could earn a ticket. You would do a bunch of social media activism online to earn you a weekend ticket. They even stopped doing that. If they had a program this year, because I got the email, because I'm still subscribed to them. The program was only for one ticket for one day. So you had to pick a day. So they're not even giving you weekend passes to do social media activism. They're literally giving you one day. So they're definitely, really scaling back. And it's just, unfortunate how something that was an event that many people looked at and looked forward to and used as a platform is now becoming a very unsafe space for black people and black punks and black alternative crowds. And it's just sad to see, and it's sad to see that, they don't really care. Now, prior to Afropunk, before the actual shows, they was already under, some smoke, because they was talking real greasy on their Twitter. They was not on their Instagram. They made this whole, blackout statements of, I guess it was like their post-release statements of all the accusations that are now deleted. They deleted all. No, I'm sorry, they didn't delete it. They just bumped a bunch of pictures up. Okay, so on their Afropunk feed, they have Afropunk does not believe in bullying. Afropunk does not condone violence. Afropunk doesn't discriminate. Afropunk doesn't drag black people. Afropunk doesn't police black bodies. Afropunk is for us, by us. Afropunk loves our community. Afropunk believes in respectful discourse. Afropunk respects creative expression. Afropunk supports black consumerism. Afropunk supports our community. Afropunk is black owned since 2002. And a lot of people were in the comments, because they had kicked out they had kicked out a very visible black activist for saying Afropunk sold out to white consumerism, and a lot of people were upset by that. It was written up in a few articles. I saw one in Vice. And, Afropunk doesn't drag black people. We saw that happen on Twitter in real time, where they actually searched their hashtag about their ticket prices surging. So that wasn't really completely honest. I don't really know what Afropunk is going to do. I think they need to really sit at the table and do this over again, because what Afropunk used to be and what it is now it's nothing that I'm looking forward to. I mean, you're better off going to Dance Africa in Brooklyn and having a good time. Consumerism is not. See, here's the thing. When they said Afropunk supports black consumerism, that's not really revolutionary to me. It's like saying you want the black dollar, but what are you doing for the black dollar? You're pricing black people out. Literally, Afropunk, the show, is across the street from the projects. And if you having close to $100 tickets, who are you really attracting? And if I don't even feel safe in a location for this event, why do you want my money? It doesn't really make sense. Black liberation and black consumerism aren't the same thing. Everybody wants the black dollar. That doesn't mean, that you're black centered or, you are of black liberation. That's quite the opposite. It's a very, capitalism aspect of how you view black people in a way. You want our money, our aesthetic and our style and our struggle is being consumed as a package and is being sold to non-black people for entertainment. And I think that's really whack. So, is Afropunk canceled? I am not on the Afropunk board anymore. I know a lot of people aren't. I know there a lot of people are. I hear that a lot of people in Afropunk, they go to Atlanta Afropunk. They still enjoy themselves because, I mean, Atlanta is really super black. So they probably don't have the same issues that Brooklyn Afropunk has. And, you know, Afropunk has different locations across the globe. I know there's an Afropunk Paris, there's an Afropunk Africa. So they're definitely making money. And I can't really call it. I feel like if they're making money global, then they should at least keep the original location free. That's kind of how, like, I feel. Like, if you can expand the brand globally and you can have all these Afropunk tours in different cities, then I think you should keep the original location free, because that's really where it started from. But that's just how I look at it. To vend at Afropunk is almost $2,000 for a basic table, you know, for both days, I believe. I think it was like $1,800 or something like that, like $900 a day or something like that, if I can remember correctly. So it's not cheap to be at Afropunk, and I think they owe it to the fans next year, and we'll see what happened. But I mean, a lot of celebs were there. I saw Issa Rae was there, and again, a lot of my friends were there. And I think another issue that I saw being called out in the comments of Afropunk is that they don't credit black photographers. They give more access to white photographers and black photographers. And now, again, when I was there with a press pass, Afropunk had its own photography team, and you, even with a press pass, you couldn't get access to a lot of things. They only really give you access to smaller acts, and they give you access to like, you couldn't even go like backstage. Press was not allowed backstage. Like, only way you was allowed backstage is if a PR person for a band or a manager brought you backstage to do an interview, and that's it. And another issue with Afropunk, how are they charging people all this money to be in Afropunk, and one, they don't have free water. You know, it gets hot. You walking around all day in the open sun. And two, every year they have fucked up sound issues, like technical issues. The mics be low, it be fucking screeching all out the air everywhere. It's just all over the place. It sounds like they can't afford the same sound team every year. It sounds like the sound team just got paid the day of the show and they haven't rehearsed shit. That's what it sounds like every single year. Every single fucking year for Afropunk, they have horrible sound technical issues, and they're selling $100 tickets. It's really weird. So I don't know what y'all think. Do y'all think Afropunk is canceled, or y'all gonna stick around? Y'all want to see what they do next year? I probably won't go next year either. And I'm sad because I really like Afropunk. But if you live in New York, there's a whole bunch of free concerts throughout the summer. So even if you don't go to Afropunk, you know, there's always Prospect Park concerts and, you know, concerts up in Harlem that's going to be free. So it's not the end of the world. I mean, of course, you want to be kind of drowned in all the blackness and all the beautiful people, but it's not the worst in the world. But speaking of cancel, y'all, y'all ain't giving Luvvie no country. I mean, y'all aren't giving her no country on the internet. I mean, god damn. She can't post shit on her Twitter without y'all going in on her. I mean, that's my favorite song, but still, y'all are ruthless. God damn. So, all right, let's get into Mother Aretha Franklin. As we all know, the Queen passed away, and she had an epic ass black funeral, and a lot of things went wrong. It was like the fuck boys of the pulpit. Like, I understand that a lot of it was her will and what she wanted herself, but god damn it. Ugh. First of all, let me just say this. If y'all don't know, y'all need to know. Louis Farrakhan was behind Malcolm X being assassinated. So he really shouldn't be at nobody's funeral saying nothing and being visible. He needs to just be chilling and not be seen, because y'all can laugh at me or y'all can call me a conspiracy theorist or whatever you want, but I'm telling you, he is behind Malcolm X being assassinated. Look, back in the day, for you young whippersnappers, there was this progressive black magazine, like in the mid 90s, called Emerge. Okay, and Emerge was a black owned magazine that was very progressive in politics, and I was really too young to be reading it, because I really didn't fully understand what I was reading. But if you are able to Google some of the old covers of Emerge magazine, you will see where they stand politically. You know, it was the first media outlet I saw and read that openly called Clarence Thomas a coon. It was the first black outlet that called out the hypocrisy and the racism of the Clintons while they were still active in office. It was also the first black media that I read about how, you know, Clinton and the Clinton administration laws, how it affected black people on an institutional level, as far as, you know, incarceration and economics. And it was a really in-depth magazine with really great essays on it. And I remember they had an entire issue dedicated to hard hitting journalism, and with proof and receipts and everything of everyone involved of the Malcolm X assassination. Elijah Muhammad, Louis Farrakhan, the FBI, all them motherfuckers was working together. Yes, Farrakhan was working with the feds. Elijah Muhammad was working with the feds. And this journalist, I don't remember the name, but they put it all together like a puzzle. And to this day, I believe that article, and I think it was one of the most prolific articles I've read in my entire life. I don't know if you can find it on the internet because it was in print, but if you can, you know, it's probably in the library somewhere. Again, it's called Emerge Magazine. I remember reading about Kimba Smith. I mean, it was a really great magazine that I've had the pleasure of reading. So I read it like in the mid 90s. You know, I think they stopped publishing around 2000, but apparently they have been out since like the late 80s. So it was like a decade old, you know. I don't know why they suspended the magazine, but they did. And I don't know, probably because it was just too aggressive. I'm pretty sure. I'm actually on the internet right now and I'm Googling it, and it just says Emerge Magazine in the Washington Post. This was in 2000. Emerge Magazine suddenly suspends publication. And I'm pretty sure it had to do with those articles, because they was just aggressive, and it was just hard hitting, like, you know, no shorts, no losses. Like, they just said it what it was. And according to this article, the majority stockholder of this media that published Emerge was BET. Well, I didn't know that. That's really interesting. And, you know, they had won all these national journalism awards, and, you know, it was a really intense magazine. So, Johnson, the same company that owns Ebony, they also acquired Emerge in the early 90s, but they end up selling it to the media company that was also sought out by Heart and Soul and BT. So, yeah. I really missed the magazine. I wish I could run those covers back, because those covers was some of the best. Actually, it really influenced me to, you know, create my own magazine, because it was just so raw. But anyway, back to Aretha Franklin. So I already knew them niggas was lying about the timetable of how long it was going to last. Like, I knew it wasn't going to be from whatever they said, 10 to 3. I was like, we going to be here all day. And one of my biggest issues about the funeral was I really felt uncomfortable with so many men talking about feminism, and not just talking about it, but leading the conversation about feminism and how it affects and plays out in Black women's lives. And I really mean that too. I really mean that men should not lead this conversation, and I say it all the time, and people don't really understand what I mean by it. Like, men should not lead these conversations about feminism, because it's counterproductive, because they always, like, to me, men only talk about feminism, and they only compliment feminism if it does not make them uncomfortable. And I also had a problem with them censoring her father. Now, I understand her father was pivotal in her career, but the rumors around her father about him being a predator and abusive, I don't really see the need to highlight him as extensively as these men did. But at the same time, they're men, so I don't really expect anything much from them. Now, the fuckboys of the pulpit, all of them, Bill Clinton, Farrakhan, Jesse Jackson, Eric Dyson, the bishop, it was just like a fuckboy of the pulpit galore, you know. Also, let's not forget Ascot Roland Martin, because he's a fucking fuckboy too. And then they had to top it off with the fuckboy of the year to Reverend Jasper Williams. And I was looking for that motherfucker social media. So he went on his rant saying Black lives don't matter, talking about gay people, black women can't raise Black boys. Like, it was disgusting. Between him telling Black women they can't raise Black boys and Ariana Grande being groped, it was just, it was a eye-opening experience on how, one, women get mistreated and abused right in the public eye. And it's very casual, you know, it comes off innocent. And two, how no matter what, even in death, Black women get blamed. I mean, I was just like over it. It was uncomfortable to watch. It also reassures me and a whole lot of people why the younger generation don't fuck with church. Like, the Black church is the first oppressive institution that a lot of Black people are introduced to. And that's being for real. That's being straight up honest. Like, when I say Black people are fundamentally conservative, this is the shit I'm talking about. You know, where where women are judged on how comfortable they make men, and they're judged based on the acceptance and the approval of men, and it's fucked up and it's not right. Now, people were talking about how, Ariana Grande how she, her dress was too short. I didn't really pay attention to her dress like that. No matter what she wore, really does not give, another person the right to grope her, and she was visibly uncomfortable. I will say, I believe her dress was only meant for performing. I didn't see her wearing that dress all funeral, and she wasn't even there all for the entire funeral. She performed, she did her song, and she fucking left. Her dress was for the stage, and that's it. But of course, other reverends felt like she was intentionally tempting the men on stage, and I have such a problem with that. Because, one, she's not a black person. She's not a black woman. And I feel that because she wasn't a black woman, automatically she was sexualized off the bat, right off the bat. Because, Jennifer Hudson was on stage, Fantasia took the stage, and nobody grabbed on them like that. So you're trying to tell me that this white girl who was trying to sing this Aretha Franklin song baited the bishop to grope her? Like, are you fucking serious? That's disgusting. They really fucked up a good funeral. I was thinking to myself, I wish Angela Davis would have had the opportunity to speak on behalf of Aretha Franklin. But I'm pretty sure she saw that program and saw all those fuck boys there and passed. Because who would want to be there with all that bullshit and all that? It was uncomfortable for no reason. And of course, Michael Eric Dyson made sure he threw shots at the Obamas. That's too black for you. Let me tell you something. That funeral was not too black for anybody. That shit was maybe a little bit too regressive, if anything. It was too regressive for me. And I was just a viewer, what I wanted to appreciate and what I remember appreciating about the black church was easily swept under the rug by all the disparaging messages against black people, black women, and black dynamics. While I enjoy music in the church, I enjoy gospel music, I don't enjoy being chastised by men. I don't enjoy men sexualizing women right in front of me. I don't enjoy men dictating to me what feminism is and isn't. I don't enjoy it. It's really uncomfortable. It's unfortunate. And I am saddened that this was used as an opportunity on a day of a remarkable woman and entertainer. They decided to use this platform to be so disrespectful. And it's just, men could be trash, but damn, there's like no scruples, I don't know. It's just disappointing. And it was just, the misogyny was just oozing out the pores on the stage of the fuckboys of the pulpit. And then they had this old ass nigga. It was just bad. And only thing I'm thankful for is that Stevie Wonder closed the show and he tried to bring back the message of love. I'm gonna tell you something. When it's time for Stevie to go, I'm gonna cry. I cried when Whitney died. I cried when Prince died. I'm gonna cry when Stevie passed away, because Stevie is life to me. I'm an 80s baby, and I learned to play 3 instruments when I was a kid: the piano, the tambourine, and the harmonica. I love Stevie Wonder's songs, and I've always loved his messages. And I'm just thinking about what I saw is just, it's just baffling to me, you know. Aretha overcame a lot of obstacles in her life: abuse, learning to segue through the music industry while remaining true to herself. She pioneered a lot of shit, songwriter, and I just wish we would have collectively, as a community, gave her a more positive send-off than what we did. But that's why you can't task men to do shit. Really. You know, look, when I die, I don't want men at my funeral. Maybe 10, 12 at the most, but they got to sit in the back and not say nothing, because men would just go on a rant and say some really goofy shit. And I don't want any man dictating what my feminism is and was as I live my life. Because if they don't say, yo, bros have said men are trash, then they lying. All right. So what we have here, it's been a long week. Jesus. Afropunk canceled, yay or nay? Y'all still getting Luvvie out the paint? Y'all definitely not fucking with Luvvie, and that shit is hilarious to me. And let's do better by black women, okay? Let's appreciate them while they're here. Let's appreciate them when they go home and they transition. Let's stop blaming black women for all the L's and the issues in our community. All right? Let's start there. All right? See you next time. Peace.
The kind of guy that would say, hey baby, let's get away, let's go someplace, huh, where I don't care. He's the kind of guy that you give you everything and trust your heart, share